Yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this masterclass that's part of the course capacity building aspect. And thank you all for being here. We're very excited to have Tim back for another masterclass, but this time on product-led growth. And hopefully by the end of the session, you'll be able to run a product-led growth strategy and implement it for your own startups and projects. You've already met Tim before in the previous masterclass, but a quick short intro on him. He works on restructuring, dashboarding, and has helped many startups secure funding and has a passion for helping people. And of course, if you want to book a one-on-one coaching session with him, you can do so with the service request form and inform me. And yeah, we're super glad to have him back. And thank you, Tim, for being here. The floor is all yours.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for the intro, Nadine. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, everybody. Again, if you have your cameras, please turn it on. I'd love to see you all. It was a great session last week. We talked about growth hacking, obviously. We did demystifying growth hacking. Today is going to be a little bit more different, obviously, because it's another concept, but it's product-led growth. I'm going to tell you some good and bad news. Good news is that, the mindset is awesome. The bad news, these are all concepts. They're all buzzwords, right? Growth hacking is a buzzword. Product-led growth is a buzzword. If you hear product-led sales or product-led marketing or growth-led market, whatever, these are all buzzwords, all right? I think that in the startup world, we love to create little concepts and buzzwords just to make sure that it's always exciting, right? So that we always trying to learn some new stuff, and that there's new consultants, that there's new programs, new cohort education and stuff like that. We have to keep inventing some concepts. But that's kind of the bad news. But the good news, to be honest, it's the mindset behind it. There's a great mindset behind product-led growth that we're going to see today. And product-led growth is definitely not something new, guys. It's something that we've had for a long time. It's just that now we're putting a name to it. I'm not going to do intros so that we don't waste too much of our time, but I do want to ask a question. If one or two of you can unmute yourself and tell us, what do you think about product-led growth? What is product-led growth for you? Yeah, can I get somebody, one or two person? I think Yamama maybe is going to tell us what product-led growth is. I put her on the spot there. Or anybody? Just quickly, what is product-led growth for you?
I think it is related to customer acquisition and how retention and conversion.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Mama. Somebody had raised their hand. I'd love to get that hand again. I think it was Homam. Homam, yes, unmute yourself. Tell us, what do you think about product-led growth? Hello.
I think it is possible to make a growth strategy for the business through the successful of the product and its features.
Okay, very close. Yes, it's the value, right? It's to get the value from the product, and that's how you grow. So not just pure on marketing, pure on sales, but making actually at the end of the day, thank you so much, Yamama and Homam, for that. But at the end of the day, this is something that I always say, and I didn't say it last week, but I'll say it this week, and I'll say it in the deep dive session next week. But it's be obsessed about the problem. Right? The problem that you're solving, right? Your startups, your businesses is a solution, right? I'm sure you've heard about this, the painkiller or the vitamin, right? What do we want to be? We want to be a painkiller. We don't want to be a vitamin, right? You can be a vitamin, guys. There's been so many startups that has seen billion-dollar unicorn status on being a vitamin. It's okay, right? But that's not, it's not going to help you just grow. You're going to have to do a lot of marketing. You're going to have to, if you're a vitamin, you're going to have to force sales to a lot of people. If you're a painkiller, that means that there is a pain out there. If you can find those people who has the pain, they will take the solution. They will take the painkiller. That is your solution to that problem, right? And that's where really product-led growth comes into play, because if you can have that solution to the problem, you have a great product in your hands. You're going to have a lot of fun. Right. So hopefully by the end, as Nadine said, you're going to have a great understanding on how to map out a product-led strategy. And to be honest, it's as I mentioned in the beginning, that you're going to have the mindset of thinking like that. Okay, that's what's very important for today, in my opinion. All right. So you guys have kind of explained really well. If you didn't have the speaker view, please, on the top right, change from view to speaker view so you can see me in big, because I'm not going to do a screen share, right? The screen is behind me as I do a bit of green screen magic here. So what is product-led growth, right? At the end of the day, product-led growth is the rise of the user, right? So it's really the user making the decisions, the user finding their solutions to their problem, fixing that problem, being onboarded themselves, having a great journey to value, right? And we're going to see some metrics like TTV, time to value, and stuff like that, right? So it's the rise of the user. This is why I say the rise of product-led growth is actually the rise of the user, is the rise of us, right? Because we are also consumers, right? At the end of the day, and we have softwares, platforms, hardware products, and so on. So think about yourselves first of all. And I think that's a great mindset thing that I always do with my clients. I always tell my client CEOs and so on, I tell them, put yourself in the shoe of your client that you're actually providing the solution for, right? We're going to have a great framework at the end that I hope everybody will go back and they will do an audit of their product, an audit of friction on how to get their product. That's going to help you a lot, guys. And I would really, really make sure that you focus on there, okay? For now, we're going to do a little bit of quick history, a quick couple of examples, but let's look at the agenda, what we're going to see today. We're going to see a little bit the old way of what PLG is. It wasn't called PLG, but it did exist. There was an old way, and then we're going to see the new way on how we branded this concept as PLG. We're going to go at live examples, so some real examples of PLG. We're going to look at PLG as user-centric, as we mentioned, is the rise of the user. A bunch of examples of PLG companies. I think they're very important. A PLG go-to-market strategy. We're going to look at a few frameworks. One of them is the bowling alley framework, which we really like here. The PLG metrics are very important on what you want to track to make sure that you are product-led growth and that your product-led growth strategy is working, right? We're going to look at the flywheel. The flywheel is a great concept. You can find it online. We obviously didn't invent this. It's something that we've taken from online, and we're going to present it to you guys today. A bunch of other frameworks, because I love frameworks. We're going to review reviews for your product, why they're super important on product-led growth. Keywords about product-led growth, because it's not just PLG as mentioned. There's many other product-led stuff and all that, and it's a lot of buzzwords. I want to make sure that you guys know these buzzwords. And then we're going to look at product-led tools for SaaS, yeah, for software as a service, but you can also use it possibly for many other things. Because even if you have a hardware company, because I remember we had a few hardware companies here, you're still going to have a website. You're still going to have possibly a sign-up form on your website, for early access, for anything to order the pieces, the parts, or whatever, right? So you still can do a lot of the digital stuff, even if you're not a SaaS product, okay? And in the meantime, if you do have a very important question that is about what we're doing at the moment, you can stop me or you can put it on the Zoom chat. But at the end, I'm trying to keep some time for us to do a bit of Q&A and chat. Okay, so let's think about the old way of product-led growth or growth or product in general. Is we put up a landing page, right? So I'm sure that's what we all did, right? We create some content, we direct people towards that landing page, right? That's marketing's job, right? We store their contact information. We have a sign-up form, right? This is the typical stuff. Then we send messages and target them with our services, right? And then we hopefully turn them into paying customers, right? And really, we used to be very hopeful, used to be like, oh, hopefully they're gonna turn into paying customer. Inshallah, they're gonna become paying customers, right? We always did that. Now it's not about hoping, but it's actually building the product to make sure that it solves that problem, because then you don't have to hope. If it solves the problem, trust me, people are going to find it and people are going to use it and they're going to stay with you and you're going to have customers for a long period of time. And that's what we want, right? So also, this method had, created sales cycles. If you guys remember, especially when send messages and target them with your services, right? We had sales cycles. I've worked in one company once that had an 18 months sales cycle. 18 months to get one customer. So think about that. If you have to spend 18 months on one customer, that company's growth is not going to kick in until 3 to 5 years, right? And It's difficult. It's difficult. So be careful with your sales cycle. And this is why product-led growth kind of get rid of a little bit of the sales cycle, right? It does a freemium, a free trial, which we're going to look at, right? So, and in the old way, we really push down this product to people. And because of that, I think that or we fake the value, or we believe suddenly in the value. The customer believes in the value, and in a given time frame, 6 months, 9 months, they realize that actually that's not the value that they're looking for. That's not the solution to their problem, and they leave. Right? This has been happening a lot, and this is why the product-led growth concept is been growing. And I think Yazan, also, hope is not a strategy. I love that. I have to use that from now on. Thank you so much, Yazan. I think it's a sentence that I don't use enough. Hope is not a strategy. Definitely.
Good to see you, Tim. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Yazan. Thank you so much. I love that hope is not a strategy. And Dr. Yazan, I hope you feel better with your throat. I heard that you were getting a little bit ill. So all the best to you.
Yeah, I'm just drowsy with some antihistamines, but I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
All the best. All the best.
Yes.
But I will definitely steal what Dr. Yazan said there. Hope is not a strategy. Absolutely. But you know, we do hope a lot. So instead of hoping, let's do the hard work, but let's do the smart work as well, right? And that's what we're going to learn today. So that's the old way of product-led growth, guys, right? We've been doing this. We've been doing this all the time. How do you decide on your sales cycle? Is it related to your KPIs or revenue KPI? So hopefully your sales cycle is not related too much to your KPIs, because the KPIs is what's going to drive obviously your business, right? And this is what you're selling for. You're selling for moving those KPIs ahead, moving those KPIs forward, right? Yeah, mama. The sales cycle, sadly, it's about what your product is. Is it an enterprise product that takes months to integrate? Is it a product that needs the CEO plus the HR director plus another person in the company to see? Right? Do you need champions in a company to bring them up, or do you speak to one person? And is it just one person's? Is it B2B, B2C? There's so many things that will change your sales cycle. But a very quick example that I mentioned about our 18-month sales cycle, Yamama, was that because it was a computer vision technology, that it was an API, and it was so hard to integrate and change your front-end website. It was for real estate portals. They would have to change all their website, the backend of their website, to be able to call into this API to get the images onto computer vision and being recognized and tagged. So it took about 18 months. Actually, it took about, let's say, 10 to 12 months for the company to accept it. And then it took about 6 to 8 months for the company to actually integrate the technology on their site, right? And they wouldn't pay until the technology is integrated and it starts working. So that would be an 18-month sales cycle. That's very scary. When you have a business around 18-month sales cycle, you don't have much time to experiment neither, like we saw last week about experimentation. You want quick sales cycle so you can experiment quickly, but we'll get into that. But a great question. Thank you so much, Emma. So that's the old way, right, of product-led growth. Let's talk about the new way, right? The new way. It's a concept, as I mentioned, guys, but at the end of the day, it's to provide the customer with a freemium model or a free product, right? It's to provide the customer with possibly 30% of solving their problem, right? With what you offer for free, right? And you can really offer things for free. It's okay. If your product is valuable, and even let's say that I use 80% of your features, like I said, 80%, I use 80% of your features for free. They're solving a problem of mine, and I love it for free. And then as a paid feature, what do you have? Inviting more people, or white labeling, or integrating into certain integrations. Maybe they're not that important for me because I'm solving 80% with your product and I'm using 80% features. Trust me, I will pay for your product. If I see even that one little feature that is a paid feature that helps me a little bit extra, I will pay because I've already got value out of your product for free, right? This is very important. Right? If you trust your product and if you've created something that really solves a problem, as we said, you know, obsess about the problem and what you're bringing as a solution, then it's okay to have a freemium, right? Be careful with free trials. I know that free trials can stress people a lot, right? 14-day free trials can stress people a lot. It's better to have certain free features, right? And that lets people actually upsell themselves. We will look into that. So here you have to make sure, and I think it was Homam that said as well, and Yamama also mentioned about the acquisition, right? The product is the customer acquisition model. So you make the product acquisition. If you guys remember last week, if you were here, we looked about at the funnel, right? Awareness, acquisition, activation, and so on. And marketing will try to do the awareness, the acquisition. But on the product-led growth way, it's your product that is going to do the acquisition. Right away, the product is going to enter into that funnel and is going to acquire the customers. And the customers here, but let's call them users because they could be free users, right? And then you do have another, obviously, goal is to convert the free users to paid, but that's much easier. As long as they're using your product, is much easier to do that, right? Give the product to people. This is the new thing, right? PLGs, give the product to people, let them use it. What's going to happen? Worst case, guys, they're going to leave. Worst case, they're gonna tell you, they're gonna give you feedback. They're gonna be like, this product is not for me. That is a great worst way, right? Because then you can learn from that and you can make your product better for the next set of users, right? It's a great way to test, to learn. It's iterative learning as well, product-led growth. If you think about it, it's like experimentation a little bit. Let them understand what you offer, right? We talk a lot on marketing, on website copy, messages, drip campaigns, and all that to try to explain what our product offer and what it does. Why don't you let your product speak for itself, right? We don't do this often, and this is why product-led growth is growing and this concept is growing, guys. Okay, so obviously here you have a bunch of product-led growth companies, right? We have multiple softwares that can be tried and tested as well, right? And that's the idea. It's, if I want to get a product for X reason, I have 10 of those, and I bet you 8 of them is going to have a freemium model, right? Maybe 2 are not going to have. They're going to be like, oh, we're enterprise, we're behind the demo, we're behind the call. Those people are losing most of the time, right? But that might be their strategy. They might be a very enterprise-led strategy, right? And they just want to focus on the big customers, and they don't want anyone to enter their product and leave without kind of their consent, right? And that can happen. It's okay, right? This is why it's every product, every company is very different. And as I always say, there's no one-stop solution. But if you know the mindset, then it's up to you to actually find the solutions, right? So behind me, you see a lot of companies. We're gonna touch upon a few of them, so don't worry about it. But here very quickly, from what I see, Loom. Sadly, it's there somewhere. Let me bring myself. If you don't know Loom, guys, get to know Loom. Loom is an awesome product, right? For internal videos, for sending videos to your customers and so on. We're gonna look at a few examples. Proof, Loom, a Webflow. If you're gonna redesign your website, check out Webflow. Gorgeous is customer service for e-commerce. They grew massively just with product-led strategies. There's a bunch of them behind me. There's a lot of them. You can find a lot of lists about these, right? So the product-led concept, right, it's always been part of our lives, as we mentioned earlier. And you're gonna laugh in a second, right? Why? Sorry, I just flew from one side to the screen of the other. That happens sometimes. So do you guys remember, how did you buy a car? No, how did you buy a car? How did you buy a perfume, right? I'm sure that you're obsessed about your favorite perfume and now you keep buying that, right? But how did you find your favorite perfume? Maybe your friends smelled of the perfume, right? But I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, or maybe we're too old here. It's that we used to walk in shopping centers, right? And people would spray the spray at you and they'll come. You remember that? That was product-led growth. Test driving a car, right? Going on the car shop and be like, hey, can I test drive the car? And still today you can test drive every car, right? We buy cars by test driving them. We don't buy cars because we saw a great video and we're like, oh, that car is awesome. Or we didn't read a blog article. Yeah, duty free, yeah, mama, absolutely. In the duty free, you'd have ladies that trying to spray you and you're like, no, don't spray me. I got 16 different perfume on me already. And they're like, no, but put it here, put it there, put it here, put it there. And then you smell of different perfumes, you've lost it already because there are 16 smells on you, right? So be careful with that. But the idea is that we don't look at an article, we don't read an article about the perfume, or we don't read an article about a car. We do see videos on TV that makes us very emotional about these perfumes or about these cars, and then we want to go try it, right? So we do go try it. So they've done the awareness, but the acquisition happens when I go, I spray, and then, you know, I ask my friends, I carry it for the day. I'm like, oh, how do I smell? Oh, that's great. Oh, it's a perfume I tested today. Awesome. Everybody loved it. It goes well on my skin. I buy it the next day, right? Or I buy it online. Maybe I don't even buy it in that shop, right? I test drive the car. I brake. I turn. I remember one of my best test drives. It was this lady in California. I was buying a Volkswagen Touareg. She told me, she said, Tim, can you make a U-turn? And I was like, okay. I didn't like, my idea about buying a car wasn't to make a U-turn. Like making a U-turn wasn't going to get me excited about buying a car. But this lady that was selling the car knew that one of the biggest value of that car was, it's a big car, but it would turn U-turn right away on the next lane, right? Because it had an amazing turn. And it was innovative back then in 2006, I think, or something. And yes, I did a U-turn and I was like, wow. I'm like, this car U-turns so well. And I bought the car, right? Why? Because I tested the car. I tested the product. I saw the value in the product, right? So this is what we mean about the old way and the new way. We always did product-led growth, right? But we didn't have a concept. We didn't have a word. We didn't have a sentence. We didn't have a tag, a stamp behind it, okay? So think about how many experiences you get that are product-led growth, right? From very, very old school industries, right? I think one of the great examples of that is the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul, right? I'm half Turkish. If you go in Istanbul, you can try any jewelry, any watch. They'll open carpets for you. You can try their teas. You can try all the spices. You can try everything. They give you for free to try anything, right? And then you take the action of buying what you like. That's product-led. They're leading with the product, right? So it's that simple at the end of the day. I'm trying to simplify this concept again. I love to demystify concepts. I think that's one of my things, right? So again, I do repeat. I'm going to repeat this a lot during the whole presentation. PLG means being end user centric or user centric, end user centric, right? It's all about that user, right? You're focusing on that, okay? It's a bit of a change of a lifestyle, right? No need for extensive sales pitches, right? You don't have to talk to me an hour about your product. Just give me your product. I'll use it, and then when I'm ready, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the premium features, and I'll use it for the freemium model, right? It's very important, right? It's also about, obviously, we've all heard about fear of missing out, FOMO and stuff like that. But if you can get access to it, right, so it can be some new driving factors for you. Is getting people to test it, right? But here we're going to touch upon it again. Your customer support guys, be obsessed about customer support, right? Even if they're freemium, even if they're free. I get this. I'm sure you guys got this as well. You go for a free product, nobody cares about you, right? I try to put a ticket, I try to chat, nobody cares about me. Yeah. And then you pay for the product, you get better customer service. That's not good, right? Those free users are your future customers. You should treat them equally. You should treat them equally. And then you're going to tell me, oh, Tim, but maybe if we have 10,000 freemium users and we have 100 paid users, how are we going to have all our attention on all of them? And we're just going to go on paid users. No, for freemium, you can do a lot of things. You can build amazing chatbots. You can build a 24-hour ticket. You can build so many things. And yes, maybe the 100 premium users, you want to call them. You want to give them a phone line, right? That's a customer support strategy. Okay, but it's important to think about these things, guys. All right. Okay. So let's start looking at some examples of product-led growth companies. Yeah. So that it opens up a little bit our minds about this. We are on one right now. What are we on right now? We're on Zoom, guys. We're on Zoom. Who has premium Zoom in here, right? I have a premium Zoom. Possibly the Core has a premium Zoom. But does anybody else have a premium Zoom here? Maybe some, not all. I bet you about 80% of us has freemium Zooms. Why? It's enough for 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It's enough for one-on-one calls. You can't do group stuff, I think, anymore. Right? But trust me, when you start making money and you're starting to talk to customers and your 45-minute limit is starting to run away, what happens? You pay for it because you've seen the value. What's the value of Zoom? It's a great frictionless entry point. You just download it, you sign up, or somebody invites you to a Zoom call, you put your name, bam, I'm on a Zoom call. I've never had Zoom before, I'm on a Zoom call. Oh, this looks great. Zoom looks great. It has great features. Wow, the quality of the call is awesome. I've experienced your product now. You didn't have to pitch me. You didn't have to do that, right? So the acquisition is frictionless entry point. The expansion, right, is the features behind the wall. It's a time limit, right? It's certain other features, right? Having more people on a call, right? The conversion is after those, as we said, the free calls for 40 minutes, 45, I don't remember. But right after that, when you see the time, I've had so many people, trust me, so many people pay on the go. I've had calls with them and they were the host or whatever, some customers, you know, when I do growth and so on. And they're like, oh, Tim, we're on it. We have 5 minutes. They're like, and one person says, I'll go pay for it right now. And they go pay for it during the call. I've had this multiple times, right? And then suddenly in front of you, you get people paying Zoom. Yeah. And obviously the retention is the valuable integrations. Why do I retain Zoom? It's plugged into my calendar link, right? If you book a call with me, the Zoom is automatically created, and I'm just going to show up to the Zoom call with you, right? Obviously, Zoom also won a lot of clients. They had a massive peak during COVID, during the pandemic, right? Because suddenly we all had Zoom calls. You know, my parents who's never had Zoom, they had to have Zoom because we were all on Zoom suddenly, right? A few of these people paid. Yeah, mama, yes, please.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question.
Okay, please.
Regarding the pricing and features, so what's the best strategy? Like sometimes you give you give the user like free features, and then you suddenly say you need to pay for it.
Yeah.
Or is it better to tell him from the beginning that these are your free features, and if you want to pay more, this is the pricing, and then can I increase that pricing at a later stage or not?
That's a great question. I think that it's about the core value, right? If you get the core value for free and the augmented features are what you pay for, right? So you have to be clear about that. You know, you have to say, all right, we're going to look at the framework towards the end, but I'll give you a quickly mindset on it, Yamama. It's my core product is a solution to a problem. My actual product is the feature that I have. And my augmented product is the little bells and whistles that makes me different from other competitors. It makes me a great customer service, can also be some augmented features and so on, right? Those you possibly want to give it for as a premium, but on your actual product, you want to have about 80% of the core product, called our core features, core value for free. But always be transparent, yes. Always tell them, hey, these are free sets of features. These are paid. You have limit. In the free, you can use it. You can have 2 calendar integrations, you know, but if you want more, you're going to have to pay, right? So you give the value that I get, but you don't give your whole product, right? So it's get a set of your features, break them down, look at what you can live with, what you can't live with as a product, right? The things that you can't live with, that makes you, give them for free. Right? But the things that you can live, but this is what makes our product cool, makes our product special. Those are premium features, right? Those are paid features, right? Because your competitors are gonna have a freemium tier, right? But again, it's up to your business, right? Yeah, right now on top of my mind, I don't exactly remember your pricing model and your features. We can talk about it, but it changes for everybody. But if your competitors, if you have a task management platform, never just make it paid, because every task management platform has a lot of freemium models, right? So you're going to compete with that. You can't say, oh, sorry, you can't have mine. You can't test it for free. You have to pay. Well, sorry, I go to your competitors. right? So you have to have that mindset. That's why I understand of the core, the actual and the augmented of your product, which I have a little framework towards the end that we're going to look at that. Yeah, but that's how you can think about it. Yes, yeah, Mama.
Sorry, a follow-up question.
All right, please.
So when do you start the pricing? Like once you launch, or you can say like, now I don't, like sometimes we don't have a clear pricing plan. So can I say that I don't have it, or what should I do?
So couple things here. You can say you don't have it. If you're a serial founder and you founded multiple companies before, your investor going to be like, yeah, Mama doesn't have a pricing at the moment, but it's okay. I'm going to throw money at Yamama because I know she's done this previously. If you're a new founder and it's your first time, investors will laugh at you because they're not going to know how you're going to monetize it, how you're going to make money, right? I'm laughing while I'm saying this because it's the Clubhouse example, right? Clubhouse founder, he's a serial founder. So investors, when he said, I'm building this, they were like, let's throw all the money we have at this guy because he's a founder that has done it before, and he couldn't figure out how to monetize it. You know, and it's a big fail. They thought it's going to be a $3 billion company. It didn't, right? It went very quickly. Right now, they're still struggling. They're like, oh, content paywalls and stuff like that, you know, and it's not working out. Have your pricing model before. It doesn't have to be accurate though, Yamama. Right? It could be that you're gonna ask, we're undercharging, we're overcharging.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I don't not to have a clear revenue stream. I'm just saying the pricing itself, like, you know, the bundle, like it costs you $100 to upgrade or so. Yani, this is what I was asking about.
Yeah, no, great question. I mean, to be honest, if you can take $1 from someone, then after that you can take $99, right? Because you've taken one of their dollars. If you take $0 of their dollars, then it's much harder to take more dollars out of them. But if you're taking $1, it's much easier to take $99.
Yeah.
So that's why you will see sometimes you have products. It's like, buy my product for $1 or take my product 7 days for $1. Why?
Yeah.
Because that means you're taking a credit card out still and you're giving $1, right? So even the $1, it shows that I'm ready to pay for something.
Yeah, this is my question. Yeah, thank you.
And then you can change your pricing. That's okay. I've had the chance to work for a CEO that we changed the pricing 180 plus times in 6 months. Yeah, it was a mess, I tell you. We had many people on many different plans. It was a really mess. We had to standardize it at some point, but there were experiments, yeah, Mama. Right? We kept experimenting on pricing to see how many people we can get at this price, how many people at this price. Why? Did they see the value? Then when they would ask them, then we would track them to see their usage and so on. And we did find it like that, right? It depends also on customers' previous behavior of solving the problem. This will support your decision on when and how to embrace premium features. I love it, Abir. Absolutely. If previously you were buying a hardware product that costed 10,000 and suddenly you're charging 100, you're very underpriced almost. Like, it's a good price, right? But if before this wasn't solved, you know, and you're innovating something, that's much different. But we're going to also look at competition. You have narrow competition, which is the competitor that we know, the direct competitors, but you have resource competitors, which are taking the same resource of budget, but for different reasons. We have different type of competitors that could solve the problem in a different way. Maybe it's a service. Maybe it's a hardware product and not a software. Maybe, you know, so there is different types of competitions, and people solve their problems in many different ways, and not always in the way that your product solves the problem. So this is where Abir says something very interesting that I would really take that into consideration. Thank you for that, Abir, and great question, Yamama. So Zoom, we know Zoom. We all know Zoom, right? And you've been in product-led growth with Zoom. Yeah, some of you has paid for it. If you haven't paid for it yet, you're running a company. After 5 people, you're going to start paying for Zoom. You're going to be like, you know what? I want to pay for Zoom, right? Especially if you're hybrid and remote and so on, right? So that's really product-led growth on Zoom. Airtable, does anybody use Airtable? Airtable is a great tool. Check out Airtable. It's like Excel, it's like spreadsheets, but on steroids, right? It's so much more powerful. It can be a backend to many things. You can actually build a front end and have your backend Airtable, right? So Airtable, they created this universe, right? With use cases, a lot of inspiration, and a really great customer success. right? They've had amazing use cases that the customer success would interview, would put out there and so on. And you'd be like, oh, I need to try Airtable. Airtable is free. I think it's free, 10,000 rows, 1,000 rows. I think it has a data, a certain size of data set. It's free, right? You're going to pass that very quickly. But until you pass that, you're going to see the value of it. And if you see the value, you're going to be like, you know what? I'll pay for Airtable now. Right. So that's what's going to happen. Right. So that's a great example, Airtable. And please, guys, check out Airtable. It's a great product to help startups. Figma. Possibly you've designed your MVPs, your prototypes on Figma. Right. They've closed, big rounds of investment on Series C of 40 million in 2019 because they're product led. Right. They solve designer pain points like the project organization, file management, and real-time collaboration, right? And that's for free again. You come in, it's free. And everybody who's going to start their MVP goes on Figma, starts designing it. They have something really nice. They can show to potential pre-seed investors. They can show it to a lot of people, to their friends, to get some early customer feedback and so on for free. And you get so into the product that you can't leave because you've built so much stuff. So then you pay for it, right? I have a friend who I think when we put Figma on LinkedIn, I did a post about it. He said, Tim, I used it for 1 year for free until I created my whole company. And then I start paying for it. For 1 year, he built his whole prototype and so on for free. You can do that. There's so much out there for free, right? So that's a great example. Slack. I mean, who doesn't use Slack? I don't know if you guys don't use Slack in your company. Check out Slack, right? Slack. I mean, it's very rare that I've paid for Slack. I've paid for Slack in 2 or 3 companies. The rest, I have 16 free workspaces. I have with my ex-students, I have with other project mates, I have with a lot of people. And when do we pay for Slack? It's really when we become a company that makes enough money, that says, hey, I want to keep longer than more than 10,000 messages, right? Until then, everybody uses it for free. And you know what? A lot of people still use it for free because you might not want the history of 10,000 plus messages, right? You might not want to use it. Some companies do. It was my company, Juno Talent, with Michael, and we're 7 people now. And Michael said, "Oh, shall we pay for premium?" I said, "Why?" I said the free is enough. He's like, "Oh no, sometimes I put some messages that I want to be able to search. I want to remember them. I want to find them. There are certain integrations." I was like, "Okay, let's pay for it," because I've never paid for Slack. You don't have to pay for Slack, right? Where does Slack make their money? 42% of the Fortune 100 pays for Slack. Yeah. And they're super loud advocates. Yeah. That the whole company is built on it and is having a great experience. Today, when I work with clients, like yourselves, like startups, right? Early stage startups, and they're like, okay, yeah, we have Slack. Then I ask them, anytime you're buying a product, anytime you're going to get a new product, I ask, does it integrate with Slack? And everybody's like, oh, okay, why? Yeah, Slack is your center, is your workspace. You log into Slack in the morning. You have all your colleagues on Slack. You possibly have even your customers on Slack, on partners. You can have your tickets on Slack. You can have a lot of things on Slack. You can have your metrics on Slack. I use Slack now as a notepad. You can chat to yourself. It's not crazy on Slack. In real life, don't do that, okay? It's crazy. But on Slack, chatting to yourself is okay. It's acceptable, right? One thing that people forget that use Slack, you do / remind me. / remind me at this time that this did, no. Boom, it's your task list. You can even say, what are my reminders this week? What are my reminders for today? You ask Slack and it gives you all the stuff and it's all integrated in it already. And you can even have that for free. You can even get a job through Slack these days. Absolutely, Naeem. Like Slack communities, people are vocal there. You can get jobs, you can find people, you can meet people. I've heard people build relationships, like romantic relationships, because they met on Slack, right? So that happens. It's like a Tinder sometimes. Be careful, right? So it's a communication tool. It's one of the best asynchronous communication tool out there, and it's also synchronous because you can call somebody, you can click the phone, you can video call them, you can do. In the beginning, their features were horrible about their calls because it was very America orientated. Now it's also Europe and Asia, I reckon, right? So test it out. You know, maybe you don't even want Zoom, maybe you just want Slack internally, right? So you can have Slack for free, guys, for as long as you want. And then one day you're gonna be like, I love it so much that I'm gonna pay, right? Basically, Michael was like, I'm just gonna pay it because it's a great tool that we use. So we paid for it, right? That's a product-led growth strategy, guys. That's like the best example. One of the best examples is Slack. They have millions of users, not all pay. That's okay, it's acceptable. Yeah. But be careful in that. One thing that I keep saying, and then I get scared that people get too excited. Obviously, be careful about the cost of goods sold, right? Be careful about how much does it cost you to have the servers up and running? How much does it cost you to store data? You see, that's why Slack you will pay for more than 10,000 messages, because that's when it starts costing them a bit too much, right? It starts costing them, then they're like, you have to pay for it. But if not, it doesn't cost them that much, right? So be careful with your cost. Pinterest, Typeform, right? Great product-led growth companies, right? Pinterest, very different. I mean, Pinterest became an e-commerce platform somehow, right? Typeform, if you haven't used Typeform, is a Barcelona company, one of the top companies on, I mean, it's so weird when I say that, one of the top companies on form building, which is really silly to say that because you've never expected form company to be so big and so interesting, but Typeform is. They've done it because they've really changed the way that we do forms, right? So you can have Typeform for free. You can build forms, but you can have 100 entry, I think, right? So when you get 100 signups, you're like, oh shit, I need to pay, because you might get 101, 102, 103, right? And you've already had 100, so possibly your return on investment is already there because you haven't paid anything for Typeform, and you've got more return on it already, so you'll go pay for it. Yeah, awesome. Those were quite some big examples. Yeah, so we'll dig a little bit more into a bit strategy, but it's very overview of strategy that you guys have to think about it. It's not a deep dive session, but I'm gonna show you a bunch of requirements. I'm gonna show you a bunch of frameworks, and if you do take these frameworks in-house into your companies and into your mindsets and into your building, then I think you can definitely build a great strategy, right? I'm very obsessed about frameworks, okay? And I will keep saying that because you can solve a lot of things with frameworks, all right? So basically, these are the questions you need to answer, right? Who is buying your product? We know, we always think about that, right? As marketeers, personas, and so on, but really dig into it. You remember example of demographic, psychographic last week as well? Don't make that mistake, right? Where will they find out about our product? And when we say that, the marketing automatically goes, oh, paid media, oh, Facebook ads, oh, I don't know, events. A lot of people forget, there's a mosquito, sorry. A lot of people forget one thing, guys. Review sites, the Capteras and G2s and Trustpilot. We find a lot of products there. We make a lot of decisions there. This is why the difference of marketing and growth that I was mentioning last week, if you were here, is marketing looks really on awareness and a bit of acquisition. But you as a growth mindseted people, right, person, you have to think about, okay, where else is my product mentioned? Do I get reviews? Does people talk about it in forums, in Reddit? Does people ask on Quora and people answer? Do I have reviews somewhere else that I am not aware? There's websites that you are going to have reviews about your product that you're not aware. Go find these, because they are your best channels for growth, right? Why are they buying your product? I hope you do know that, this is why you're building it. And how are they buying your product? I'm going to underline the how. How are they buying your product? If you make it so difficult to buy your product, a lot of companies do, guys. Yeah. Then I want to pay. The other day, I wanted to pay for a product. I couldn't pay. It's so difficult. It was clicks behind, and there was pop-ups coming, banners, and then it was bringing me to another page. Then it would ask me that, and it's like, I just want to pay and I want to buy your product, please. Right? That's bad. Don't make your users, beg you for it. Yeah, because they want to throw money at you. Don't make them beg for it. Okay, make it simple. Make it simple. So these 4 questions, I repeat them very quickly. I know who, where, why, how. Right? It's very simple. But simplicity is what makes product-led growth as well, guys. Who is buying your product? Where will they find out about your product? Why are they buying it? And how are they buying it? Answer these questions. That's your product-led growth strategy almost. But let's look at what we require to make that happen. What we require to make that happen, right? What we require to make that happen, it's a few things, right? One, UI, UX. User experience, right? User interface and user experience is super important. If you have an ugly product, it can be okay if it's easy to use. If you have a beautiful product, but it's super difficult to use, it's not gonna be okay. But if you have a beautiful product and it's easy to use, that's where growth happens. Yeah, Zoom, Slack, all the products that we've been mentioning, they have beautiful UX, UI. Yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. When we really look at Zoom, simple, Airtable, super simple, Figma, gorgeous, Slack, absolutely incredibly simple to use and a no-brainer. Same thing, Pinterest Typeform. Maybe I'm not very massive fan of Pinterest myself, but that's me personally, so don't take me on up for that. Okay. Right? So UI, UX, be obsessed about that. The biggest products at the moment today that you will find out, it's like Superhuman is an email tool, beautiful UI, UX. Clay, which is for personal CRM, beautiful UI, UX. Notion, one of the biggest companies out there right now is software, a beautiful UI, UX, right? Clubhouse, it was beautiful UI, UX. In the beginning, it was beautiful. We've never seen such emojis in a social network channel that is not just comment emojis, but the emojis were everywhere, and the channel names and how you saw people, and people had small bios, right? Small profiles. It was a work of UI, UX, guys, as well. Yeah, obviously the hype as well helped obviously bring that, but then they can monetize, but the UI, UX. Yeah. So you might say, Tim, I'm selling jet skis, man. Okay, where do you sell these jet skis? Online, on a website? Do you sell them on a shop? You still can think about UI, UX, right? Apple, yeah, the Apple shop is a work of architectural design, interior design. It's the same idea as beautiful UI, UX, right? You go, you see the products, you have these big tables, you know it, guys. You've been to an Apple shop, all of you, hopefully, right? If you haven't been to an Apple shop, guys, please go now, right? That's like the way to show product-led growth, and UI, UX is the best way to show that. Yeah, awesome. What else do we need, right? We do need a few things, right? We need to know the customer touch points, all of them. Some of these images are not the most beautiful images. Sorry, guys, I just took them. But make sure that your customer journey is mapped out very clearly, that you know each touch point. Yeah? You know each touch point, and you can even put metrics on each touch point. You can track each touch point. Because if you can't track it, you can't optimize it, right? So you remember what I said last week, if you were here? You can't hack what you can't track. Yeah, awesome. Keep that in your mind. That's a very important mindset thing. You can't hack what you can't track, guys. Same thing here. You cannot be product-led, if you can't understand the touch points and understand how they move forward. How long does it take them? What do they do? How do they do it? Right? The how, what, where, and how, and stuff like that. That also goes in here. You need to know these things. Yeah. All customer touch points. Map it out now after this call. If you haven't mapped it out, map it out. Map it out. Map it out on a whiteboard. Map it out on a poster. Map it out on a paper. Doesn't matter. Just map it out. Right? You will find some crazy stuff. You're gonna be like, oh my God, my product is so hard. It's so hard to buy, to use. It's so hard to integrate. It's so hard to onboard. right? And you're going to go crazy. You're going to be like, why did we make it so difficult? And we do. You will see that we do. It's okay. It's okay, because you have something that you can optimize. Yeah. All right. So analyze your effort with data and iterate. I know you've had a data-driven decision-making deep dive, I think, before, right? Nadine, was it deep dive or a masterclass? It was a deep dive. Yeah. So right, that's super important. Make your decisions with data, right? I have another concept, which is data informed. Every decision doesn't have to be data driven. It can be data informed. Okay. So make sure that you have the data still, though, right? Okay. And keep iterating. Keep iterating. This next one, I really don't like the image, but it was the best image to show you different departments coming together, company-wide coordination and teamwork. This is the really what makes product-led growth, right? You need your team to be in it. You need your team, not just your marketing, not your just product. You need everybody. You need sales, engineering, marketing, product, growth, operations, customer service. You need everybody to have the product-led growth mindset, right? Okay. Everybody plays a role. Everybody plays a role in this. All right. So awesome. Those are your requirements. Let's look at a very quick framework before a few other frameworks. Okay, frameworks, very important. So I love this example. I think I'd like to thank Naive for finding this example. My executive assistant here, he found this example and I loved it. It's the bowling alley framework. All right. So think about the bowling alley, right? Straight line onboarding, right? So what's the goal in a bowling alley? It's to take the ball and to throw it so that the what do they call in French? I call them key, I think. So the keys go right. Okay, I forgot their name in English. If anybody remembers, you can put it on the chat. That'd be awesome. If not, don't worry. So basically, you want those to fall, and you want them all to fall in one go, right? That's the score. So what is that? That's the destination. The journey is straightforward. Okay, so it contains the absolute minimum number of required steps for a user to experience value. Strike. Yeah, you want to strike. Exactly, Omar. Thank you so much. Right. So that's the same thing with your product, right? You want the absolute minimum number of required steps for a user to experience value. What's the experience to value here? I take the ball, I go like this, I throw it, and bam. Yeah. Okay. Don't make it a labyrinth. Yeah. Don't make it a labyrinth. And what I love also, the example here on part 2 is the product bumper, right? Shows that user what shows the user what to do within the product using helpful tooltips. On the bowling alley, bowling pins. Thank you so much, Naiva, for that. Yes. So on the bowling alley, your goal is to get to the bowling pins, right? But you might think, oh, I can go from here. No, you have these bumpers, right? These bumpers, it tells you this is the right, this is the left. You're trying to go in the middle, right? That's the bumper. So what's the bumper for product-led growth? It's your onboarding tools, it's your tooltips, it's your checklist. We're going to look into that, but there is so many things, right? There's so many things. Okay. Product tours, yeah, incredible at getting to the point of value fast, right? If you open up Asana today, right, what's going to happen? Asana is going to give you a product tool right away. Yes, Slack will give you as well. They're going to give you tooltips and stuff like that, right? Onboarding tooltips, right? Checklist. I think Asana has a product tour and a checklist, an example. Yeah, here are the steps you have to take to see the value of the product. They're guiding you through the striking the bowling pins, right? They tell you, create your first task, assign it to your colleague, invite your colleague, create a comment, do this, and you do this, even if you didn't have to, but you do it. You're like, oh, wow, I've created a task, I've created a project, I see the value, right? That's the mind. You want the aha moment. You've heard about the aha moment, I hope, right? Yeah, you want the aha moment. If you can't get people to the aha moment quick enough, they'll leave. They won't see the value because signing up could be very easy. Yeah. And then I leave and I never come back. I have an account and you're like, oh, I have 10,000 users. I mean, 9,999 hasn't logged in like 6 months. You know, that's not good, right? Remember daily active, DAO, WOW, MAO, daily active users, weekly active users, monthly active users. That's why we track these, right? Empty space, especially with dashboards, right? So be careful. You want to put some empty space, but you want templates. You want to show as well that you can build something, right? So be careful. Product tools, checklists, empty space in your tool, onboarding tools. You can use Slack to onboard your customers. You can say, hey, come into our Slack channel. How many early stage MVP products have a Slack community? So many, guys. I mean, in so many. They'll invite you on Slack. They'll chat about their product on Slack. They'll tell you about the value. They'll show you features. They'll share templates, right? So you're creating a little community behind it. At the end of the day, guys, all of this is to educate the end user, right? As you educate the user and as the end user sees the aha moment, the end user will pay you. Yeah. Awesome. Quick examples on checklists on Quora. If you sign up first to Quora, you have set up your account, right? It'll tell you, follow these topics, go comment, change your feeds, you know, change your blah, 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 invite 3 people. It already guides you into all the features of Quora. Same thing, Slack. You come in, it tells you right away. Messaging happens in channels. Here is a menu of your channels. What is a channel? Next tip. You click next tip. Then it tells you, this is how you organize channels. Then it tells you, here's your private chat. It tells you everything. It tells you how to invite people. It shows you the whole product in the first couple minutes. And then you're like, oh, wow, this is a no-brainer now. So it educates me. And because it educates me, now this is my product, because now I know how to use it. Yeah. An example of this type of stuff, right? Mission critical steps, as we call it, right? Is GA, right? You've heard about GA4, hopefully, right? Google Analytics is changing to GA4. A GA4, if you don't have a JavaScript events, it doesn't work, right? So you need JavaScript events, okay, on GA to make it work, right? So if you can't have data, you can't track it. You can't have a pixel. It's the same as a pixel. You can have GA, but if you don't put the pixel, if you don't put the tracker, it doesn't work, right? So some mission critical steps might happen. This happened to us on a marketing automation platform. We were selling Cards Guru, and people were downloading Cards Guru very easily. They could play around with it a lot. But if you didn't integrate your email, you didn't send an email automation, then you didn't see the value. So what did we do? We changed the whole onboarding. We changed the whole campaign to get you to launch a campaign, right? If you launch one campaign, that means you send an email to an end user of yours, then you'll see the value, right? So before we didn't say that you saw the value. We said it only if you've created a campaign and you've launched the campaign, then it's a successful customer, right? So think about it in your products. I gave a little bit of this example again last week, I think, right? So on part 3, right, we looked on the bowling alley framework, which I love. Let's remind ourselves very quickly. Part 1, straight line onboarding, right? I want to get to the value. I want to get to experience striking those bowling pins ASAP, right? Part 2, I want a bit of guidance. Where am I going? How do I get there, right? So the product bumpers, right? It shows the user what to do within the product using helpful tooltips, right? Part 3, right? Conversational bumper. Uses prompts such as email, SMS to bring users back to the product. You might leave, right? On a bowling alley, you send this stuff and then you start chatting to your friends. If the screen doesn't go, beep, 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 you don't know it's your turn. You might not go around, right? Same idea is I might leave your product, but maybe your product is a reporting tool. Maybe every Friday you could have a little nudge. You could be like, hey, have you done your Friday reporting? Like, oh no, I haven't. Thank you, product. Right? You're reminding me when to use your product and why I'm using your product. It's okay until it becomes automatic. It's okay to remind people. Don't spam them obviously every day, you know, but think about very important frequency moments that you can actually send a little email, a little SMS if needed, yeah, or a little notification somewhere if it's an app. Awesome. So a little bit of that. I mean, you guys know this from marketing, of course. It's a very, very big marketing thing as well, right? But it's, you know, work on getting the quick wins ASAP, right, with your customer. So the above example, it does shows that, right? So when a customer sign ups, there are some steps that they need to take to keep the customer engaged. right? And we have to give them the action to do so, simple ones, right? So what do we do? On product-led growth is different than marketing, because marketing does that to tell you to use it and abuse it and take more. On product-led growth, we're trying to get them to see the value. A signal comes in, you sign up, right? There's a welcome email. Hey, welcome. This is our product. These are the 5 features you should try ASAP, and so on, right? A day later, a week later, I can send them a usage tip. You can customize this usage tip. This is why we ask in the beginning on onboarding sometimes, on the sign up form, what's your department? What do you do? What type of company are you? Because you can actually customize it, right? If it's an e-commerce, you can say, hey, 16% of our e-commerces use this feature. Try it out. 16 is a low number, but 80% uses this. Try it out. Oh, you're a marketing automation platform that uses our product. Okay, this is what you can do. You can customize this. Why? You're trying to get to the quick win, right? To that first aha moment, that wow moment. Wow, it's awesome. Aha, I understand, right? And I've used it and I saw value in the product. If you can get that quick win quicker, the quickest possible, then you can build from there. That's where also Yamama, the sales cycle comes into play, right? Yeah.
So I have a question regarding the, do we have like a best practices, like between the first reminder and the second reminder in terms of duration?
Yes, there are best practices. 100% is going to be according to what type of product you have. Your product, let's say that it's a weekly use product, then the best practice is not to send daily, right? But it's to send the first day to welcome them. In 3 to 4 days, maybe to send a reminder of saying, hey, how's it going? Can we talk to you, or can we onboard you, or can we give you even a session or something like that, right? And in the 7 days, you're expecting the aha moment already created, right? You can kind of guide them there. Hey, did you use this feature? Right? And then you're like, oh no, I haven't used it. It's like, oh, maybe I should use it now because it's been 7 days I'm in it. So the best practice is the frequency. Is the frequency of your product. If it's a daily product, then you can do daily actions. If it's a weekly used product, then you can't do daily actions because you can't force people to come in daily to your product. Yeah. So be careful with that. Right. So the best practice is really on understanding your ideal customer profile, obviously your ICP, and understanding do they use it weekly, daily, monthly, quarterly. Hopefully not, because then it gets a bit more difficult. But it's like I guess in Dubai and stuff, obviously it's summer the whole time. But if I have a jet ski and I buy it in Canada, right, I'm not gonna use it the whole winter. It'll be very cold, right? So but in May, the weather's starting to get warmer, and you send me an email saying, hey, the water got to 20 degrees and you can use your jet ski. I'll give you the jet ski example because I know there was a startup building that, and I think it's the most different and difficult example to give, to be honest, because it's not just the software, but so again, frequency, sometimes as we call seasonality, right? So is it a summer product? Is it a winter product? Is it what type of product? When do you use it, right? So those are very important factors that goes in hand to be able to design such flow. Yeah. But Yamama, the best thing to do, it's to understand the frequency, to design one, to run it, to see how people are getting into the flow, to analyze the flow really closely, right? It could be with video tracking, with behavioral tracking, with metrics and so on. Understand what's happening and be like, oh my God, they have to wait 5 days to get to the value. Maybe I should shorten this, right? And you can ask, not enough people asks, hey, how did you find out our onboarding? Do you think we could have done it quicker? Do you think you needed more time to learn the product? Not everybody's going to answer, but somebody who loved your product or even loved it but hated a few things will talk, right? And one thing that people don't realize, a bad customer usually is great. Yeah, I'm a bad customer in most companies. People hate me, but the real product people love me. Because I complain all the time, guys, because I love it, because I love product. I love the experiences. So I'll send a message to whatever customer support and I'll be like, oh man, why is this happening? Why can I not integrate it? Why does that not happen? And they're like, oh, what do you mean? Can we jump on a call? Some of them are so smart. They're like, can you show us? Can we jump on a call? Then we build relationships, right? You build a relation with your bad customer. Your bad customer will help you do a better experience, right? And usually a customer who complains are passionate. They're passionate. They take the time to complain, right? If they take the time to complain, it's great. Listen to them, guys. Yeah, because a lot of customers are going to leave. They're not going to complain. They weren't that passionate. They're going to go to a competitor. It's okay. You maybe lost them, you know, but a customer that comes to you and says, yeah, mama, I really don't like the onboarding. I really don't like this feature. You should be like, oh, why? Tell me. I'd love to take your feedback on board. Let's have a chat. Let me give you an Amazon gift card even, right? Those people, you love those people, guys. Love them, yeah? Complaining customers equals better product. I love that name. Yeah, absolutely. So I am one of those customers. So if you want better product, get me as a customer. I love to complain about about products. Yeah, I love it because I enjoy understanding the experience myself, and that teaches me on helping and consulting other clients. Right. Awesome. So so desired outcome, right? So you're trying here. So the first one was a quick win, right? Here is we're going towards finding value, right? You know, we're trying to not lose the customer, but to bring them into engaging and showing them what are the value. So as you can see behind me very quickly, it's the desired outcome, right? Comes from they do something, there's a trigger, right? We can send a sales outreach, a case study, a trial expiry, which I don't like. Okay, so this is good to put here because a lot of companies will do that 14-day trials, right? Some you have to, some you can't get rid of it. Sometimes you do trial extension. I love the trial extension stuff, to be honest. If the trial expiry is done well, the trial extension is very interesting because you can say, jump on a call with me, you know, let's learn more about your use case and I'll extend your trial, right? Most companies that has a trial of a time, if you tell them, hey, I didn't have time, they'll give you more time. Yeah, because it's a very stressful thing. You know, you give me 14 days. I didn't have time to try in 14 days. We have busy schedules. We have busy lives, right? So try to see instead of freemium model, instead of a free trial model, in my opinion. But this is my opinion, yeah? But every business changes again. Post-trial survey. You can learn a lot of things there if people fill it up, right? Hopefully they become a customer, right? And then new customer campaign starts, right? So that's kind of what you're trying to achieve, isn't it? So this could be a month, it could be a week, it could be even a day. You might be able to do this, Yamama, on a chat. The second they arrive in the product, bam, 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 this happens very quickly. Yeah. If you're really good at what you do, this can happen very quickly. Yeah. If your product is very enterprise and it's very, very painful, it might take a month. Awesome. I want to keep a bunch of time for Q&A. So let's try to go a little bit quicker. I do apologize. I want to explain things though, make sure that everybody gets it. Right, the product-led growth metrics. Let's look into them very quickly because they're very important, right? These are the common ones. You can use a bunch of others, right? TTV, guys, time to value. This is the time that it takes a user to reach their aha or their potential value realization moment. The shorter the TTV, the better for the product, right? That's the better sales cycle, the quicker time to value, the quicker aha moment, the quicker you're gonna have referrals, the quicker evangelists, the quicker happy customers. ARPU or ARPA, right? Average revenue per user. Why I say ARPA? Average revenue per account. In B2B, they'll say ARPA. In B2C, they'll say ARPU. Some B2B product will even say ARPU. If it's really into user-centric, right, it's much more ARPU. But if it's account-centric, right, so a bunch of people using the product and we don't care who uses, somebody has to be using it, then it could be about the account. Yeah, so the ARPA. This is the total revenue of your business divided by the number of paying customers or users in that period. That's it, right? Easy. These are simple metrics, but they're very important. Expansion revenue, right? If you do have a freemium model, then you have a starter package that is $9.99, right? And then you also have upsells, you have add-ons, you have bigger packages, you have more volume, right? Revenue generated from existing customers by upsells, add-ons, anything more than the initial purchase. Yeah, the initial purchase is just the package 9, right? They get more data, they get more integrations, they get more stuff. That's the expansion of the revenue of that customer. right? Very important for product-led growth, guys. Customer lifetime value, right? CLV, it's a tentative formula to find out how much revenue you will make from one user over her lifetime, right? 18 months, staying 18 months at how much? Yeah. Okay. Very important metrics. This is what we're going to open up. Yeah. If you haven't heard about it, now it's the time that you're going to listen about it. It's the product qualified leads, the PQLs, right? You've heard about MQLs, right? Marketing qualified leads. You've heard about SQLs, sales qualified leads, right? Have you heard about PQLs? All right, this is the time, yeah, mama. PQLs is important. Product qualified leads are people who are convinced by your product and will activate activated users, right? So PQLs, right? It's where you remember on the funnel we had activation, right? So activation is product qualified leads. So it's not that the marketing did their thing, they downloaded ebooks and stuff. That's MQLs. SQLs is people who are ready to talk to sales because they have the budget, they have the team to integrate it and blah, blah, blah. PQLs are people who actually have activated it, or they have used it, or they've integrated something, right? They are ready, they're qualified, the product is qualified, their usage is super qualified, right? It's MQL, SQL, PQL, right? PQL much more important. I've changed mindsets of many companies that I've consulted for to get rid of MQL and SQL and just focus on PQLs, because MQL, SQL, what it does is marketing and sales, they fight, right? Because they say, oh, my MQLs were really good quality. No, your MQLs became SQLs, but they're horrible. No, you don't know how to sell. No, you don't know how to close. No, you have shit quality leads. No, PQL is all about the product. They can use the product, they're qualified, they've activated, or they're going to activate, right? So very, very focused. So another way to say it, a user who has experienced the value of your SaaS product, this is on a SaaS, typically through a free trial or freemium account, is also a PQL. Yes, Yamama.
Sorry, so regarding the PQL, so going back to the Zoom example,
yeah.
So do we consider the people who are using the freemium, like the free
100%.
features?
100%.
Okay.
But
PQL.
you might not. So if I was Zoom, I'd have a soft PQL and a hard PQL. The soft PQL would be somebody sign up and they have a freemium, right? But you don't know if they've used it. In my opinion, a good PQL for Zoom would be they've already spent 20 minutes on a Zoom call. You see the difference? It's because in 20 minutes, you definitely had the quality of the video and you understood, oh, wow, this is free. This is awesome. Bam, you're a PQL.
Yeah.
Right?
But even if I don't buy the premium,
yeah, you're a PQL.
I will be considered PQL. Okay.
Yeah, and your goal is then to get the PQLs to actually pay for something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why you look at PQLs and then you do strategies around the PQLs on how to get PQLs to be customers. Right? Yeah. Paying customers. Yeah. Awesome. Great question on the Zoom. And I bet you Zoom has something like that, right? Because I bet you there's so many people that has Zoom for once, or they don't even, they sign up, but they don't go in it. Or it might be that they want a second call, right? They might say it's PQL when a second call happens of 20 minutes at least, right? Because the first call is the 40 minutes and you want to see that they really like the product. As a freemium user, they still come on a second time, right? That means that they've seen the aha moment. So that's kind of what you're trying to understand. When is that aha moment, how they've seen it, and then I call them a PQL. A great example to show you here, it's right, the experience product value that matches the customer profile and the showed purchase intent, right? And in the middle you have PQL. And showing a purchase intent can be signing up for a freemium, can be putting a card but not paying yet. That happens a lot as well, right? There could be different intents on showing that I would purchase this. Yeah, maybe I haven't yet, but I would. Yeah, and I have the product value. It matches my customer profile, right? Because it's for me. Zoom is for me, right? I'm a PQL right in the middle. Yeah, I'm talking a lot about SaaS here, but again, the same mindset can be translated to different products, different services, different companies, right? But the self-serve, who gets the most value of PQLs is self-service SaaS, software as a service, trying to move up market, right? Plus the high volume of signups with high variance in quality, right? That's really your PQLs. It's very SaaS specific. You don't have to worry too much about it if you're not SaaS. If you are, come to me. Why do we even bother with PQLs? Because it identifies the great sales opportunities, right? A PQL that keeps using my Zoom 100 times a week is definitely a great somebody that is going to have to pay very soon, right? And I can definitely focus on their account, understand their company, and they have hundreds of employees and they're all free. I can definitely give them a call, I reckon. Proactively reach out to high value leads, as mentioned, increase free to paid conversion rates, improve inside sales processes. Sales teams, they love PQLs, right? Because it's not an MQL, it's not an SQL. It's actually, they've used the product. You know, it's so much easier. Hey, how's the usage of the product going? I saw you use 100 hours of the product. You might be very happy about it. Well, yeah, I've used 100 hours. I'm happy. Okay, time to pay. That's not how you do it, but you see what I mean, right? So identifying your best PQLs means you can focus on your best sales opportunities, guys. Don't forget about that. So, you know, you can look at high customer fit and engagement, right? So customer fit and engagement, obviously in your highly engaged, high customer fit is you're ready to close, right? Low customer fit, but highly engaged. Is it a business opportunity for you? Is it a segment that maybe you've missed out, right? Low customer fit, low engagement, ignore those, don't waste your time. High customer fit, right? But low engagement, that's where you want to do product onboardings. You want to do maybe manual reaching out and helping them. You know, they need hand holding. They need some help, right? Okay, so matches the ideal profile, the customer profile, ICP, plus experience the aha moment is a high value account who is ready to upgrade, guys. Okay, so get those upgrades ready, right? Again, I do very quickly go into this just to wrap up what we've discussed a little bit, right? Define your ideal customer profile, always your ICP, your personas, your target. You need to know that. Define the key events to measure on activation engagement. So when do they activate and when are they engaged? Activation is the first Zoom call of 20 minutes. Engagement is the second or third, maybe Zoom call, right? Then we know they're engaged. Combine the two, iterate and refine. Yeah, so you're getting into a PQL. There's 3 ways to do that. You can do simple in-house, segments in your CRM, right? In your CRM, you can say these are PQLs. You can filter out low quality accounts. You can have a dedicated tool, which we're going to look at very quickly in a bit. Fast implementation. It can scale with your needs. There are tools that does that. You can have a custom solution. If you're a bigger company, a 5-figure budget can take months to implement, which I don't really recommend custom solutions for PQLs. Awesome. Let's go a bit quicker. We're going to look at the product-led growth flywheel. Okay. If you haven't seen this yet before, it's a great way of thinking about product-led. Okay. All right. So it's a framework for growing your company business by investing in a product-led user experience, right? If I bring some sentences, I don't like to bring sentences on screen, but if I do, that means they're quite important. Companies are transforming how they communicate with the users by leading with the product rather than marketing or sales, right? That's what we've been discussing. Yeah. I'm making sure that I'm iterating on it. So this is the product-led growth flywheel, right? So at the outer skirts, you have activate, adopt, adore, and advocate, right? In the inner, you have the evaluators, you have the beginners, you have the regulars, and then you have the champions, right? Well, I think we understand it quickly, but we'll dig into it a little bit. You know, evaluators are monitoring your product, right? They're similar to scrolling a page and also looking at competitors. They haven't made a decision yet. Okay. It's nice to identify these people. It's nice to define them and to identify them, and actually in your CRM, maybe even do a list, a segment, because you can do different campaigns to these people, right? So that's the activation moment will happen, right? So you want the evaluators to see the activation moment. When they get the aha moment, they discover the value, right? That's what we always do it, trying to achieve. When they discover the value, they become beginners, right? So beginners, they understand how your product can meet their needs, and it adds value to them already, right? So they're excited about it. They're beginners. And usually what happens when you're a beginner on something, you're excited, you want to use it, you want to test it, and so on. That's the best moment to be there. Make sure that your customer support is active. They have everything they need because they're beginning their journey with you. Okay, that's super exciting as a company. Yeah. As you, as the founder of the company, you should love that moment. You should love those beginners. Yeah. You're going to have really good time with them. Right. So from that beginner moment, right, because they've activated, they're starting to adopt it. They're starting to learn it. So users who have adopted your product don't put a lot of thought into deciding to use your product regularly. They just use it. Yeah, because they're not beginners anymore, right? They're starting to become regulars. That's why they're adopting the technology and they become regulars, right? So regulars users rely on your product for multiple cases, not just one use case most of the time. Switching to another platform may be costly and time consuming for them, right? So the switching cost starts appearing here, right? And that switching cost is very important for you. Yeah, because then it's like, oh, I don't want to switch. I don't want to do the switching cost. And if your product is good, obviously nobody wants to do the switching cost. Yeah. So your regulars, what happens to your regulars? They start adoring your product, right? When the users who adore your product don't just use it frequently, they enjoy using it and they talk about it. That's going to be the next step. They look forward to accomplishing tasks. Excuse me. They have a sorry. I think allergies, as Dr. Yadan said, I have allergies as well. It's a great time for allergies. So here, your regulars are starting to adore your product, right? So they want to accomplish these tasks. They have a real desire to expand into new use cases. They're like, oh, how can I use this product more? What can I do else in this, right? They adore, right? They adore your product. What happens to those people? They become champions. Your champions are eagerly watching your every move. They look at your product updates. They look at news about you. They look at your articles. They read your newsletters, right? These users want more capabilities and more power from your product, not because they necessarily require them, but because they love your product and are actively invested in your success, right? If you were to shut the doors tomorrow, they would be devastated. Yes, that happens. There's been so many products. I cried almost. There was, it was called, I think it was called Atom AI. It was, no, Astrobot AI. Was my favorite email tool out there in the world. It's HubSpot bought it. I think it was HubSpot bought it, and they killed it. It never came. I cried almost. I really was upset. I didn't know what to do. 2 years after, I found Superhuman. So now I'm happy again with an email tool. But Astrobot killed me because I was a champion. I adore them. I advocate for them, right? What's the next step is advocate. Is what makes the product-led growth flywheel a flywheel. Advocacy, inviting other users to your product, leaving reviews. They're actively evangelizing drives awareness and evaluator interest in your product, right? So completing this cycle is leading to compounding growth, right? So the advocacy is very important. It's when like Superhuman, I keep talking about it. I'm an advocate, right? It's an expensive product, but it saved me like my hours of my time. So I keep telling people, I keep telling other CEOs and founders, right? So that's important. You want champions. That becomes on the advocate part of it. Just very quickly, just to look at the flywheel, right? Don't forget, okay? Your evaluators, yeah, they activate, they become beginners. The beginners start using it, they adopt it, they become regulars. The regulars start adoring it, they become champions. Champions start advocating about it, right? And that's your flywheel, and it just goes around and round and round, yeah. And when that goes round and round, that's your compounding growth, yeah. That's where you're gonna grow. All right, I have a bunch of frameworks that I want to throw at you, and then try to keep 5 to 10 minutes for a question. So let's try to go a little bit quicker. A few more frameworks, okay? So you've got a bunch of already the bowling alley. You've got the product-led growth flywheel. Yeah, but now we're going to dig into a few that I really love myself personally, that is not very product-led growth, but I brought it because I use it for product-led growth. Yeah, but it's not your typical, you're not going to find these as product-led growth frameworks. Yeah, so I think this is important here to keep your attention, guys. So this is what I mentioned to Yamama earlier on core product, actual product, augmented product. You can really think about your product in 3 stages: the core, the actual, the augmented. Okay, what does that mean? You're going to ask me, right? So what is your company's actual product? Your actual product is your platform, it's your software, it's your it's what you have. The core product, what is your core product? Your core product, it's the solution to the problem. It's much more aspirational. Yeah, we solve this problem. That's your core of your product. Yeah, but your actual product is what I can use, what I can touch, what I can click on, right? That's your actual product. What is your augmented product, guys? The augmented product is the bells and whistles, is the machine learning, is the extra features, is the integration, is the great customer service. It's the amazing UX UI possibly as well, right? Those are augmented, right? They are your differentiators from your competitors. Okay, so one thing, look at, you know, how does this compare to firms you typically consider in your competitive set, right? So make your core product, actual product, an augmented product, like we said here, right? And then look at your competition, right? Competitive set that you've created. Try to map them. Are they competing on actual product, on augmented product, or on the core as well? Right? Yeah. Do these firms have the same actual core augmented product? Check out if they have the same. Yeah, you can differentiate yourself really well, especially on the augmented side of things. Okay, all right. It's a great mindset to be able to think about your product in these three levels. Okay, core product, actual product, augmented product. So I talked about competition a little bit, guys. Right, most of us, even me, until a few years ago, until I got really obsessed, obviously, about growth and product growth and stuff like that. I looked at competitors as narrow, right? So you look at your competitor, they're the same company that, you know, they're a company that does same thing as you, right? The two competing products are almost indistinguishable. That's your narrow, that's your direct competitor, right? So then you can have a form competitor, yeah, which is similar products that compete for share of wallet, but have different features and use cases. Yeah, so it would be the same amount of budget that I would pay for this. Yeah, but they have different features and they have different use cases. Okay, but it's similar. Yeah, the need is what we were discussing as well. I think somebody here said something really good about it. Was it Naim or I know it was Abir. Abir said it about it, right? Previous behavior of solving the problem. So the need, right? So products with similar core product. You remember the core product that I mentioned, right? It's the solution to the problem. They have similar core product that satisfy the same consumer needs, but they can be completely different. One could be a hardware, one could be a software, one could be a service, one could be a product, right? Okay. And resource, guys, products that compete for the same broad and finite resource. Okay. So that's a little bit broader, but you're gonna have, you know, Clubhouse could be Facebook, WhatsApp, and stuff like that, you know, but they'll go on narrow. It will be another audio tool, another audio communication tool, you know, form. I mean, they don't have a payment, so I don't know how to find the form, but the need could be also, Tim, kindly share resources about the core, actual, and augmented products terminology. About the terminology, yeah, okay, I'll try to see. Naive, can we take that as a little note? Abir said on the chat, and see if we can get you some more examples. But Abir, I'm sure you can Google these stuff, huh, by the way. Okay, we'll try to find something, but don't wait for us. Okay, I also recommend you to check. But think about your, at the end of the day, let me repeat very quickly, your core product, okay, it's not actual product. It's the solution to the problem that you're designing. It's that ambition, it's that aspiration that you have, right? The actual product is the product, is the service, the product, it's what you can, tangible, clickable. That's your actual product. And the augmented is the extra bells and whistles that you add, right? And it could be even customer service. It could be a great onboarding. It could be machine learning algorithms, right? The augmented product is really where you can show a competition that you're better or that you're different. Okay, awesome. No worries, Abir. I hope that helps. And then that will help when you think about those questions about your product, Abir. It doesn't help. I can give you many examples, but until you think about your product and you can say, okay, this is my core, this is my actual, my augmented, then you're gonna be like, oh, and you know, you're gonna look at Netflix. Then, you know, Netflix competitor is not Disney Plus, guys. It's not HBO. Netflix competitor is sleep. Yeah, Netflix chose to compete with sleep, not with other things. Now they're a little bit struggling, so they're seeing Disney and stuff growing, so they're like, oh, we should take competition very seriously, not just sleep. Yes, Yamama.
So
sorry, Abir, 1 second. Yamama is first. She put her hand up. Sorry, 1 second, Abir. Yes, Yamama.
Yeah, so talking about the core and the augmented product. So what if my core is also a differentiator? So my competitor doesn't have that feature. That's why I created my solution.
That's your actual product, right? There's no feature on core product. The core product, it's your vision of your company.
Is the vision.
It's the aspiration, is the vision, right? So my company is here to disrupt and change how we communicate, right? That's your core. Your core is that you're disrupting and changing communication. But your actual product, it's a WhatsApp competitor, right? But your augmented product is that it's WhatsApp but built on video first. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the core is really what your business is created for. Because the core will never change. Your actual product can change because let's say in a couple of years, we're in Web3 or things change and you have to change your actual product, but your core stays the same. That's your mission. That's what the solution that you're bringing to the problem.
Yeah. The solution.
Yeah.
So like we're giving rewards in return for writing. This is our core.
What do you do?
The
Sorry,
actual product.
Repeat again.
So we have a rewarding system where we
I
reward
know.
content
Okay,
writers.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the core, and the actual product is the platform, because so the
Exactly. The actual product is the platform.
Yeah, and the augmented product, is it the reward itself or is it the other feature?
It's the other features, is the bells and whistles, is what is the premium stuff, is why I would pay you instead of other ones, right? Because there is rewarding programs. But I love how you said it. Yes, your core product is that solution, is that you're doing a rewarding system. And the system today as an actual product is a platform, but tomorrow it could be a tooth and it does it automatically, or it could be on the AR glasses, or it could be just, I think about it and I get rewarded. I don't know. You know, things can change, technology can change, and the actual product will change a lot, and the augmented product will change a lot as well, but the core will stay the core, right? Abir, 1 second. Ghassan said, you mean free time, not sleep? No, I mean sleep, Ghassan, because Netflix will build features so that while you're in bed, you don't fall asleep and the next plays or stuff like that. It's not about free time because they don't think that you're going to have and do other things. You're not going to open up PS5 or do something else. They expect you to be sleeping if they're not watching you. So they're trying to extend the time of you watching Netflix and not sleeping, which is really not nice, because actually Netflix is for free time. Netflix is for sleep a lot. Yeah. And you can find this use case, Naim and Ghassan, sorry. You guys, if you want to see it as free time, for sure. I have never watched Netflix in the daytime in my free time, never. I only watch it at nighttime. 80% to 90% of the people watches it at nighttime, right? And or they're gonna sleep, or they're gonna watch more Netflix episodes, right? That's what I mean about. I mean, your sleep time could be your free time, and you might choose it to sleep, but that's the sleep time usually. And so they see sleep as competition, so they'll build features according to that. It's for free time at night, yes. And that free time at night, what would you do normally? You'd sleep, because after 10 p.m., 11 p.m., it's better to sleep and not have the blue light and all that. But Netflix is a little evil. You know, they say, how do we not make you sleep and be stuck on 10 episodes, right? This is the joke of who would sit and watch a 2-hour movie tonight? No one. But who would watch 10 episodes of 1 hour tonight? Everybody. Suddenly you're watching 10 hours instead of 2 hours, but because they're all dumped at you in one go and stuff. So these are techniques that actually Netflix does to compete with sleep. They don't see it as competition with free time. Yeah, but I see the mindset, guys. I see Ghassan and Naim. I see the mindset, but they really are obsessed with sleep as a competitor. Abir, sorry, I made you wait a bunch, buddy.
No worries. Thank you, Tam.
That's all right.
You almost answered my question, but
Okay.
about how they know that sleep is the main competitor for them, or is based on analytics of users, or
100% is based on analytics. It's on the times of the zones of people watching, right? So when I watch Netflix, you know, I'll start around 10 p.m., 10:30, 11 p.m. and usually a healthy person should go to bed at that time. And then I'll finish it sometimes, you know, when there's a new season of Stranger Things, and then I'll finish at 2 a.m., right? They know that I should be sleeping.
yeah.
Right. So they look at the time, the usage of the time. Yeah. Yeah. And this is why you'll see they do some interesting features. Yes, Naive. Yes, the cliffhangers, 100%. It's done on purpose.
Yeah. Sorry, just disturb. So basically, Netflix has this happened in 2017 when this is basically emphasizing on the point of sleep. Hastings came out in 2017 and told that we are competing with sleep.
Yep.
One of the main reason is when the concept of binge watching, when that came out, and it's happened in 2011. Just that the concept has come in 2000. It got rapidly evolved in 2016 and 17. So Netflix now started asking a question when someone sits on sofa and chair, and when they have options like to watch TV. So now the brain starts asking, do you want to watch TV, or do you want to do Netflix, or do you want to pay PS5? So that's one of the a research conducted by Netflix. So that's how it's intruding in your brain and asking you, okay, I'd rather binge watch something, because binge watching means you'll end up finishing it. And that's what we are looking at as humans, as a trigger. It's the next trigger. Okay, if I finish, what next? So that's the whole research that Tim's talking about, basically.
Very well explained. Thank you, Naive. This is why I have him here. Thank you so much for the actual data points in the back. And that is true. I didn't know exact the times, but yes, Reed Hastings went and said, we compete with sleep. He said, I don't compete with HBOs and Disney Pluses and whatever. There was no Disney Plus back then, but he said, I compete with sleep. I don't compete with TV. I compete with sleep. Bad. It's bad because it's health problems at the end of the day, not sleeping and stuff like that. So they've changed a little bit the mindsets now, I think, and they're trying some other stuff, and they're testing sleep stuff on people and how many hours we should sleep and stuff like that. But this is exactly the thing about this, the substitutes, right? You know, do you substitute narrow with Netflix, with Disney Plus, with form, with a TV, right, that has advertisement, with the need, you know, that could be sleep, you know, or a resource could be sleep more than the need, actually. Yeah. So think about that. Okay. The substitutes. Let's go a little bit quicker. That was a great conversation, though. Thank you so much for the questions, and also Naive for telling us when that happened, because that is very, very important in my opinion. So here we're going to look much more on innovation, guys. Okay. So an innovative product is going to talk about these, right? So if a customer, right, articulates their need, right, it's today's business, right? You serve them and they're articulated, it's today's business, your business, let's say, right? But if it's unserved and it's articulated, a customer, you know that there's a problem, but nobody's serving that, and you do something about it, you can do incremental innovation. Yeah, from your business today to incremental innovation. Okay, the same thing happens when it's unarticulated. We don't know the needs, okay, but we know that there are customers for that. Okay, that's incremental innovation, or if served, sorry, it's incremental innovation. Okay, if it's unserved and unarticulated, so there's no customers, they're not served, and it's unarticulated, and you create something, is radical innovation. Radical innovation can go really well, it can go really bad as well, because there might not be a need for that, right? Because we don't know that yet. So be careful with this. Incremental innovation, usually it's more successful than radical innovation. Radical innovation is very difficult to get there. Yeah. And Ghassan, thank you so much for turning your camera. It's nice to see you, buddy. Very excited about that. That's awesome to put a face into the name. Yes, nice. So to go quickly as a little exercise for you guys, brainstorm ways that you could incrementally innovate on your product. Are your customers asking for something, right? Are they articulating a need that you could solve, right? What's one need that you believe your customers have, but they haven't articulated, and that you can experiment, you can show them little features and see if they use it. They're like, oh, wow, I never thought about this and I need this now. Bam, you've done incremental innovation there. Right. So think about these stuff, guys. Okay. That's how your product will evolve. You'll get a better product and you'll grow and so on. Okay. This is a very important one that I wanted to come to. All right. The friction audit. Yeah, Mama, I'm going to keep your question for the end, if you don't mind. I want to go through a little bit to make sure that deliver all the value we can. The friction audit. Go do this after this call, guys. Okay. All right. So explore your own on company. Yeah. I'm going to ask a bunch of questions now. Do an exploratory. There's 3 phases: exploratory, intervention, and confirmation. Okay. A friction audit. Yeah. So think about your customer's experience in purchasing your product. Where are the moments of friction in that process? Go buy your own product. Okay, go ask your friend to buy your product and watch them in the back, right? And see and note everything, right? Think about your consumer's experience using your product. Okay, where are the moments where there are moments of friction in that process? Okay, again, right? It's all about the experience in purchasing the product, the experience in using the product. Okay, the moments. Choose one of those points of friction you've identified, and how could you remove that friction? Okay. This is growth. This is product-led growth. Yeah. Go buy your own product. Okay. Use your own product or ask other people, record it and so on. Analyze it. Yeah. So go explore it. Then do intervene, right? So create something to change that and then look at the difference and then confirm that worked. Okay. That's growth. That's pure growth. Yeah. So go do that. All right. A friction audit and try to do friction audits every quarter. You know, every month if you have the resource. The friction audits are very important. That's where you're going to innovate and make your product easier, better onboarding, better emails, less emails, more emails. I don't know, right? You're going to find so many things, right? Product-led businesses are valued more than 30% higher than the public market SaaS index fund. Okay. They're 30% higher because it serves itself. People go find the aha moment themselves, less touch points from a human on our end. So you can scale more. Right, very quickly, other product-led keywords you will hear: product-led marketing, product-led engineering, product-led sales. Don't be fooled, okay? It's all about product, obviously. It's all about the problem and the solution. Product-led marketing, the product is the primary tool as acquisition. Usually this is done through freemium or free trial options, okay? So that's what your marketing do. Product-led engineering, primarily responsible for developing the product in line with customers' needs and market trends. This is gonna happen more and more, we're gonna see. Okay, product-led sales, provide the keys by handing the product to the customer. Perceived value equals experience value, right? Awesome. Very quickly, I want to throw some tools. We're going to go quick. So take your notepads if you want, right? Social intents, right? To chat with website visitors from your Slack, right? Social intents, great little tool. Cloud Talk, again, I'm going to have a few customer service type of things, okay? Supporting the global growth ambition, okay? Phone numbers and so on. User flow, right? User onboarding designs, okay? Those checklists and those automations and guides and so on. User flow, you have a bunch of these. App queues is one that I use. I use them multiple times. At Cards Guru, we changed massively the company's growth, right? How did we change it? We built an onboarding with little videos. You know, hey, thank you for coming to this. You can click here and have an active campaign, and you can do an SMS campaign and do this. Next, you go to something. Oh, awesome. You've launched your first campaign. Don't forget, you can analyze it here, right? That changed our product massively, guys. Before, we were trying to talk to people who signed up and like, oh, can we show you the product? We can show you the product. We can show it. No, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have... Bam. We suddenly had the auto onboarding, right? Yeah. App queues changed our company's growth. Massive. Zendesk, if you don't know, customer ticketing software, Zendesk, they have a good freemium as well. I think that's why, like, most of these should have a freemium. That's what we're trying to put in here. Intercom, if you haven't used Intercom, amazing chat, but with triggers, so you can actually automate. So I've done my first campaign, boom, a little chat box triggers and says, hey, well done on your first campaign. How can we help? Or good luck with it. Right? So the triggers of Intercom are very important, guys. HubSpot, we all know it. It's your CRM, your marketing automation, but it's an all-in-one tool. It's great for product-led growth, right? Because you have one platform for sales, for marketing, for customer service. Everybody is in the same thing. You remember, product-led growth is when all the team believes in it and all the team gets together. Everybody has a say. Everybody's in it, yeah, to win it. Salesforce is huge. It's too expensive. Don't worry about that one that much. Okay, but I put it there. Website to check for products and reviews. Right, Product Hunt. That's where I find all my products. I did mention Better List and Product Hunt, I think, in the last, but I do repeat. A lot of people will look at Product Hunt or Better List to find products. We're gonna look at Capterra. Yeah, make sure you have a good Capterra profile, and then you're making sure that your users gives you reviews on Capterra, on G2, right? These are sites that are important. Okay, so very quickly again, Product Hunt, Better List, Capterra, G2. You can get growth, you can get early users, you can look good, you can win over your competitors if you're active on these sites. Okay, I've done this. This is a little bit more of the, it's not promo, but it's for you guys. on my newsletter, on the growth letter. I know a bunch of you have signed up already. Thank you for that. On Tuesdays, you should get the newsletter, right? Go to the growthletter.substack.com, sign up for the growth letter. Every week, we have an article that I've read that I really care about. We'll have one tool of the week, one media post, a framework as well. Now, every week, you'll learn about a new framework, right? So that's every week, every Tuesday. You can find that on my LinkedIn by putting Tim Cakir, obviously, and there you have subscribed to the growth letter. And on the feature sections, I started a new thing. As I mentioned 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, maybe, I'm obsessed with frameworks. So we started a Monday newsletter that is just about frameworks on LinkedIn, right? Every Monday, a new framework, okay? And we say why this framework, how to use it. You already have my contact details. You can book a coaching session from the core. But here's my email, tim@timcakir.com. I've had a few people send me an email since last week and saying, hey, can I get them $15,000? I can't, sorry, I don't do funding. I've helped my clients get funding before, but those are my growth consultancy clients. Thank you for asking about the investment. I can't help you, so I try to answer. But there are experts in that, okay? Let's spend 7 minutes. I tried 10, but 7, that's awesome. Yeah, Mama, you had a question, I already know, so.
Yeah, just quick one.
Let's go.
About the testing, about showing the our users new features. So shall we do it like one-to-one, or after analyzing who's using what, we can send them emails like, did you know that we have this feature? Like, what's the best approach?
Well, I think,
or shall we pick and choose?
Yeah, I think you've done the strategy yourself right away. It's that the first one, maybe the 10 to 100, according to your volume, do it one by one. So you learn, you see their reactions, you see how you train them, how you show them. They'll have use cases you never imagined as well, right? And then when you're comfortable and you want to scale it, then go into emails and stuff like that, and then go mass. Yeah, but awesome question. Awesome question. Homam.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
I have a question about the previous session. I have watched it recorded.
Yeah.
I have a question about OMTM.
Yeah.
You said that you have one metric that matter.
Yeah.
But if you are in now what?
For a given time frame, right?
Yes, but quarterly. But if you are a service provider,
yeah,
and you have defined some metrics that measure your growth,
yeah,
but maybe you can succeed in these metrics.
Yeah.
You said that revenue is not the OMTM.
Well, the revenue is the bottom line, right? You're always going to need revenue. So the one metric that matters can be in a given time frame, because you're experimenting and you're trying to change that metric. But your goal is a whole company to stay alive anyways, is revenue. So if you forget about revenue and you focus on other metrics, revenue will grow anyways, because that's why you have a business, right?
But in our case, we are service providers, and we have some metrics like project numbers, project types, project locations. So if I choose one of these metrics, maybe I will be successful in this metric. But but at the end, the revenue is not good. So how can I?
Okay, great. I see what you're trying to say, Homam. But at the end of the day, it's in OMTM. We also say about the leading indicator, right? If revenue is dropping, but your OMTM is going up, leading indicator should be your revenue. And if your revenue is dropping, there's something wrong. Then your OMTM is not correct, right? Your OMTM has to help the bottom line of your business. So if you're a service provider and you do projects, right? Maybe an OMTM this half year, this 6 month, not even quarter, this 6 month, it's the NPS score, or it's project ratings, right? Because we've been making money, but our projects are 3 out of 5 stars, and our customers are like, okay. And you say, you know what? We're gonna work 6 months to make those project ratings 5 out of 5. Because if we make 5 out of 5, those customers are gonna tell other people to work with you.
Yes.
Right. So then it works, right? So you have to obviously make sure that your OMTM is something that positives your company and not negatives your company. Yeah.
How should I choose between, as I said, we have several metrics like number of projects, type of these projects, and location of these projects, let's say.
Well,
so
yeah.
how can I choose between them? Which one is the OMTM?
So if your goal is expansion, is global expansion, and you want to expand into Dubai, right? Then,
yes, new market.
Then your OMTM is going to be new clients in Dubai, or it's going to be new projects signed in Dubai. And that's going to be your MTM for 3 months or 6 months. But then the next 6 months, you're going to say, okay, now it's the quality of my projects, and it's going to be the rating of your projects that's going to be your OMTM. Your OMTM will change. So don't be too crazy about, oh, what's my OMTM? Your OMTM has to be something that you experiment to change, right? So you're trying to go positive with your OMTM by experimenting all the time.
But maybe I achieve this OMTM, but I become lose in revenue. So how can
that's wrong. That's wrong OMTM then. That's the wrong OMTM, Homam.
Okay.
Homam, I think your question is very, very specific to you. And that sounds like, or we need to spend a coaching session, or you need to go back on the whiteboard and come back to me, because if not, we're going to spend hours here trying to find the OMTM for you. But your OMTM evolves all the time, guys. It's according to your business goals. Your business goal right now is to expand globally. Then you're going to have an OMTM according to that, right? But your revenue, obviously, I never say lose money, guys, okay? When I say don't worry about your revenue, it's because you automatically have a business to generate revenue anyways, right? But to generate revenue, you can also need other metrics like successful projects, because you have great revenue, but all your projects are 1-star, Homam. Trust me, you're not going to get more projects at some point, because people are going to start talking. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So think, but it's a great, I love that you're thinking about this, Homam, but it's very, very custom to you. Yeah. So think about it. Think about it quarterly. Think about experiments that can move that OMTM.
Okay.
Thank you. And we're going for a positive always for growth. Yeah. Everything I say for growth is not for going down. Yeah. I'm a growth consultant. Awesome, Homam. Thank you. Abir.
Thank you, Tim. I'm wondering about the adding a freemium for our offering right now, which consists of 2 components: a technological tool where we can afford a freemium subscription for a certain period, or pay as you go within the technological tool. But the other component with the offering is a group session and one-to-one session. What we did earlier is to provide a pilot project, which cost us a lot operational wise. What I'm looking for, how we can provide a freemium component within a service that is one of the offering of the whole product for organizations.
Okay, a great question there. I think if you're doing group sessions or one-on-one sessions and so on, can you record that? Can you automate that? Right? Can you make it look like, hey, actually, I'm going into a session, but it's a recorded webinar?
It's an interactive session where we are discussing well-being practices, and it includes privacy for the participants.
Okay, so is there other ways where you can have a custom chatbot for them and they answer, and then you bring them a report or a result? How can you basically you have a, as you said, it's very high ticket for you, it costs you a lot of money to do that, right? How can you find that and find the minimum viable version of that? Right. So maybe the experiment, it's these sessions, they're huge sessions and they cost me a lot, but what could be minimum? Could it be a library of videos? Could it be a survey and then we get back to you in 24 hours? Can it be something else? Can it be maybe a cohort program on a Slack channel with anonymous voting and anonymous names? Right. So there could be a lot of things that you have to think, okay, this works, but it costs me a lot of money. Right? How do I have simple versions or easy, simple versions of this? Right? And you have to experiment. I'm glad that you did that and you saw how much it cost you and on time. It's a great finding, right? It's a great finding because you see that it works, but it's not generating revenue, or it's bad for the bottom line, right? Yeah. So now, how do you automate it? How do you simplify it? How can you bring automation, machine learning? How can you bring chatbots into the game? There's so much technology that you can bring into making these one-on-one sessions or these group sessions more simplified and automated.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all right to be here, but it's very custom as well. I'd love to look into that. If you do go ahead and book a session and you bring me that, we'll definitely have a go together. Right?
We'll do it. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, good luck. It's a great problem to have though, because you've seen something that works and now you want to make it efficient. It's a great problem to have. Awesome, thank you. I think we're over time. If does anybody have a question, you can always send me your questions as well. If it's just, hey, can you invest in my company? That's going to be difficult. I can't help you there. I do apologize for all that. I'd love to. If I had extra cash, I'd like to invest in many, many startups, because that's the dream, right? A startup investment and you become a unicorn and everybody's super happy, obviously. Book a session. As Nadine mentioned, there is a session that you can book. You can contact Nadine for that. As mentioned, I am very vocal on LinkedIn. On my newsletter, I share everything I know. So just join. And the next Monday, we have a deep dive session. We're gonna, together with the startups of the core, we're gonna design your growth strategy. That's gonna be very practical. I'm not gonna present for hours. There's gonna be a little bit of presentation, but then you're gonna work very hard. Yeah. So next week on Monday, we're working together. Cameras are on. Everybody's ready. It's a 3-hour session. At the end of the 3-hour session, I want you to have a great draft of your growth strategy.
Looking forward to the deep dive. And thank you so much for this great session, Tim. And thank you everyone for showing up, and hope to see you all at the deep dive as well. Ready to be even more engaged than even today.
Yes, hopefully more cameras on. All right, awesome. Nadine, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for coming.